Well, welcome to during the 6th episode of the Lizard Vlogs, how to say that, Lizard Vlog. The sole reason I did these little videos was just an attempt to give you a little diversion during this pandemic. I hope I won't have to do many more. Not because I'm running out of material, but because I want this pandemic over and done with. The reason for this is I want it over and done with, not to return to the lives we lived before February 2020, because I hate to think of the hundreds of thousands of lives we have lost, the millions more who've suffered, and the tens of millions or even billions whose lives have been affected by the loss of loved ones, workmates, social leaders, income, and often livelihoods, businesses, those sort of things. So this fortnight's vlog is about something else which I hold very dear to me, and that is the city of Albany in the great southern region of Western Australia. It's named Kinjarling by the original Australians, the place of rains. While the weather is not always convenient to everybody, I appreciate it, having lived there for my teen years from age 10 to my early 20s, while my parents lived there from 1959 till 1999. So I give you Albany, Western Australia. I can feel your west wind blowing, hear your gutters overflowing, see the sunrise over King George Sound. I can hear your sea waves crashing. I can see your lighthouse flashing. Feel the pulse and heartbeat of the town. I can smell the ocean brine in my nostrils all the time. I love to hear the seagulls at the pier. Watch the fishing fleet make ready. Smell Boronia. Oh, so heady. Never let me go away from here. Standing at the top of York Street, up there where the main roads meet, just around the corner from Dog Rock, there's nothing ever I would rather do than look south to the harbour, past the shops and town hall with the clock. In my dreams, I smell and touch it. Heaven only knows how much it means to me, just how much I care. In my mind's eye, I can see the misty town of Albany, for my heart will always linger there. In 1890, Henry Lawson worked for the Albany Observer in Western Australia. He wrote this poem about the upcoming Federation of Western Australia with pride that only a West Australian could ever feel. Poem's a beauty. It's called an Old Chum's Advertisement. Hope you like it. It's fill the cans and it's fill the cups and drink to the Western land. We're going to build a nation up and we're going to build it grand. On the driver's seat, we're going to mount the wheels in a different groove. We're going to start on our own account and we're just going to move. We have no room for the man who'll shirk the sweat of the brow condemn, the men who are frightened to look for work and funk when it looks for them. We want the man who will lead the van, the men who will pioneer. We have no use for the gentleman, nor the cheating cheap-jack here. We drink to the man as can afford to wait for a job that suits, but stick a swag on his shoulders broad and his feet in blucher boots, and tramps away o'er the ridges far, and o'er the booming sand, to look for work where the stations are in the lonely western land. He'll brave the droughts and he'll brave the rain, and fight his sorrows down, and help to garden the western plain, and build the inland town. And he'll be found in the coming years with a heart as strong and stout, an honoured man with the pioneers who'd lead the people out. I wrote this song to illustrate that cargoes of bananas are viewed suspiciously on boats. One theory is that they could carry tarantulas or snakes, which would endanger the crew. Another says that as bananas ripen, they let off a gas which ripens the other fruit early, and that by the time they get into port they may be overdone. Anyway, whatever it is, enjoy this song. It's just a bit of a joke, but it should provide a good sing-along for you if you're that way inclined.
We loaded the manifest on orders from the immigration. To Albany we were bound from the pier of the quarantine station. We loaded 4 Sumatran limes, 3 barrels of barley water, 2 bags of rice, and a dozen crates of porter. We loaded the manifest on orders from the immigration. To Albany we were bound from the pier of the quarantine station. We loaded 8 Hereford bulls and 7 Royal Worcesters, 6 merino sheep and 5 bantam roosters. We loaded 4 Sumatran limes, 3 barrels of barley water, 2 bags of rice and a dozen crates of porter. We loaded the manifest on orders from the immigration. To Albany we were bound from the pier of the quarantine station. We loaded 12 mares in foal, 11 black Majorcas, 10 fattened geese, and 9 big plump porkers. We loaded 8 Hereford bulls and 7 Royal Worcesters, 6 merino sheep and 5 bantam roosters. We loaded 4 Sumatran limes, 3 barrels of barley water, 2 bags of rice and a dozen crates of porter. We loaded the manifest on orders from the immigration. To Albany we were bound from the pier of the quarantine station. We loaded 13 loaves of bread and a bunch of ripe bananas. When he saw them come on board, the tallyman tried to warn us, but we sailed out of the bay and sank to the bottom of the water, and all we managed to save was the dozen crates of porter.
As I said, I lived and went to school and worked in the town of Albany and made many friends, a lot of whom I'm still in touch with now, 55, 60 years on. This tale tells of 2 of these chaps who went to Bunbury one weekend. They were walking down Princes Street when one of them spotted a sign outside a shop. It read, "Shirts, $5, trousers from $10, 2-piece suits from $20, dresses from $18. Well, Steve turned to Greg and he said, "Oh, geez, go and bring the ute round." we can make a killing if we bought $1,000 worth of these. We could flog them off for 800 to 1,000% in Albany. So while Greg went round and got the rodeo, Steve walked into the shop. I'll take 20 suits, 20 pairs of strides, 2 dozen suits and 10 mid-range dresses. Thank you, darling. The woman looked him up and down and then said, "Are you from Albany?" "Yes," said Steve. "How do you know that?" She snorted and announced, "This is a dry cleaner's." Henry Clay Work, the American composer and lyricist of such songs as My Grandfather's Clock and other equally famous tunes, Marching Through Georgia, The Ship That Never Returned, and Ring the Bell Watchman, which celebrated the end of the war between the states, the bloody mess between North and South that the Americans call the Civil War. 20 years later, the same tune was used for the song which eventually became Click Go the Shears, and then in the 1960s the decimal currency tune In Come the Dollars. I read somewhere that he based it on an old Scottish shanty and called it Haul on the Ropes, but I couldn't find any lyrics for that, so I thought I'll write some.
We sailed from Southampton on the 1st of July, the sun overhead in a bright clear blue sky. From Rio to Cape Town it took us 20 days, and when we hit the 40s the mainsail we'll raise. Haul on the rope, boys, haul on the rope, down to the south round the Cape of Good Hope. Haul on the rope, boys, we're off on our way, and we will make Albany by Michaelmas Day. The cargo's secure and the packets in our hold, we'll sail further south where the wind's fast and cold. The hatches are all battened and the mainsail is full, so grab hold the ropes, boys, and pull, boys, pull. Haul on the rope, boys, haul on the rope, down to the south round the Cape of Good Hope. Haul on the rope, boys, we're off on our way, and we will make Albany by Michaelmas Day. We'll sail out of Cape Town and out through Table Bay. We'll head east-southeast for the next 7 days. The wind is a-howling, blowing from the west, and when we set our bearing east, we'll put it to the test. Haul on the rope, boys, haul on the rope, down to the south round the Cape of Good Hope. Haul on the rope, boys, we're off on our way, and we will make Albany by Michaelmas Day. It's a grand sight to see when the sail's full of air, on the roaring 40s as fast as we dare, to keep out the cold. It's rum all around, until at last we sail into King George Sound. Haul on the rope, boys, haul on the rope, down to the south round the Cape of Good Hope. Haul on the rope, boys, we're off on our way, and we will make Albany by Michaelmas Day. Down Down through the channel to the harbour we go, then up with the packet we start down below. We'll fill up our glasses and raise merry hell when at last we set foot in the White Star Hotel. Haul on the ropes, boys, haul on the rope, down to the south round the Cape of Good Hope. Haul on the rope, boys, we're off on our way, and we will make Albany by Michaelmas Day. Haul on the rope, boys, haul on the rope, down to the south round the Cape of Good Hope. Haul on the rope, boys, we're off on our way, and we will make Albany by Michaelmas Day. Yes, we will make Albany by Michaelmas Day.
One miserable morning about 30 years ago, I was driving down the Mitchell Freeway to work and was ruminating about how stressful life in Perth was becoming, and I was yearning to go back to Albany, where life is much easier. By the time I arrived in Subiaco, I had these words in tune and I couldn't wait to write them down.
Please come and see me if you come down to the coast this winter. You don't need to ring or write or let me know before. Couldn't get you off my mind, thought about you all through summer. You don't have to say a word, just turn up at my door. Please come and see me if you come down to the coast this winter. We'll drive to the Stirlings, I'll go sailing on the Sound. Cozy nights we'll spend together in a small cafe or restaurant, hearts and minds above the clouds, our feet swept off the ground. Because I need you here this winter, need you through the year, and I hope when winter's gone and it becomes the summer, through the changing seasons you will still be here. Please come and see me if you come down to the coast this winter. We'll walk hand in hand together by the stormy sea, by a roaring log fire, watching raindrops on the window. We can be together the way it used to be. Because I need you here this winter, need you through the year, and I hope when winter's gone and it becomes a summer, through the changing seasons you will still be here. Because I need you here this winter, need you through the year, and I hope when winter's gone and it becomes a summer, through the changing seasons you will still be here.
I related a little tale about two blokes I knew from Albany. Now here's one about two girls. Twin sisters from Spencer Park streaked around Albany after dark. Like a couple of ferrets they ran down the terrace and then up York Street for a laugh. This one's called She Oak Needle Ground, and you don't need to know the history of it, but it was an event out of my life, so I wrote a poem about it and I'm recording it now. That afternoon when I did lay on She Oak ground so far away with someone that I loved and thought would care, the cheerful song of the birds in trees, dragonflies, the humming bees and the golden rays of sunlight making fire in her hair. She never saw the tears I cried, nor empty bottles by my side as I would lie through sleepless nights alone, feeling sorry for myself, where she left me on the shelf and leaving me to live life on my own. That afternoon I think of so was almost 50 years ago. Such a lot has happened and memories gone round. But through the heartache and the pain, the summer heat, the winter rain, my thoughts will often go back to that She Oak Needle ground. Well, that's Albany. Now you're forewarned, and if you ever visit, and I hope you do, your life will be affected and you'll yearn to revisit should you make the 5-hour drive south from Perth. Meanwhile, stay safe. Obey the advice and directions of those whose expertise has got us through this pandemic so far. And finally, please pass on this little YouTube video to other people who you might think would also enjoy it. Thank you very much.